All right, y'all, what's going on? So today we're talking about temptations. Something that we all struggle with as a Christian going through our faith journey. And you're probably thinking, temptations, they suck. They're difficult, and they're just bad. You try to avoid them. If you can avoid them, that's the best possible thing, right? Well, I think that might be wrong to think like that, because in this video I want to sort of tell you all that temptations might actually be a good thing, and that we should be excited to be tempted. And it's not the fact that the thoughts that we have or whatever, like when we get a temptation to engage in it. I'm not saying that's not the good part, but what I'm saying is that temptations are a test. They're a test of our faith, and so that's why they're so important for us in our journey. Last night was crazy. I was getting tempted last night, and yes, it was a sexual temptation, bro. I'm just gonna say it out here. Hey, it is what it is. I don't gotta choose the vices that I struggle with. It is what it is. But hey, I'm joyful for being tempted. Sometimes I'll go through periods of my life, but periods of time where I don't get tempted for a certain struggle, for a certain sin. And so when I don't get tempted, I can feel really strong about myself, right? I feel like, I'm done with that temptation. I'm not getting tempted anymore. I'm not gonna fall for that. But the fact is that I haven't even gotten tempted. So how do I know how strong I am against that certain sin? And also, how strong I am in my faith itself. Because when you get a temptation, like I did last night, I'm sitting there getting tempted, and it's a test. It's a test to see whether I will gratify the desires of the flesh, or if I will walk by the Spirit. And those are the two options that I have when I get tempted, and it's up to us to decide what we are going to choose, because temptations are an interesting thing, right? So there's certain sins that we have, right, where we sort of just do them spontaneously, right? Maybe it's maybe it's like swearing or something, right? It just comes out of your mouth. You don't really think about it. But with certain temptations, we do have time to sort of process that out and see hey, should I do this? Should I not do it? You have that time period where you're being tempted before you actually engage in the temptation, fall into it. And so that's the interesting thing about temptations. We have a time period, a time frame between the conception of the thought of the temptation and the action. So whether we actually engage in it or we say no to it. So there's that time period, and that time frame is really important, because that time frame is where we are weak. It's where we're the weakest. That's where we're struggling. Trying to figure out should I do this? Should I not do it? And last night, that was what I was going through. I was going through in my head, because I knew that sexual temptations are not good, obviously. And so my flesh wanted to engage in this sin, whereas my spirit was like, no way, man. This is not something that, is good. This wouldn't glorify God, right? And so I was stuck in between this choice, right? And as humans, the flesh is weak, right? We just want to go into sin. It's just so tempting. It's so deceiving. And our spirit is, becomes weak in those times. And so we have this time frame where we get to choose what to do, and that choice is so important, because we can choose to gratify our flesh, right? And then what does that mean? Ultimately, that means that we're choosing ourselves and not God. We're pushing him away. We're saying no, you're not good enough. I'd rather have this instant gratification. Fortunate for me, though, I was able to overcome this temptation. And boy, did it feel incredible, because that's what I'm saying. Temptations, man, they are a test of your faith. And if you overcome them, it is an incredible feeling. You feel strong. You feel yes, my love for God is true. My faith is true. It's not just I'm not just saying it. I'm not just acting it out, but I'm actually doing it. And that's something you have to remember when you're being tempted, because the choice that you make fully determines your faith. What's that verse? It was James 1 verse 2. It said, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face any kinds of trials, because that testing of your faith produces perseverance. And I forgot the rest of the verse, but I'll put it up here. But that's a crazy verse, man. And like this verse just pumps me up because it's just crazy. These trials that we're up against, these temptations, these challenges, anything that's in our way, they're tests of our faith. And when we overcome them, we produce perseverance, meaning we get stronger, we get better. And that's just such like an incredible promise to remember whenever you're dealing with temptations, today, tomorrow, this next week. Keep this in your mind, keep this in the back of your head, because these temptations, like, we can think of them as something bad we want to avoid all the time, but it is inevitable to deal with temptations. They will come. And so when they do come, what are you going to do about it? You can follow your flesh, or you can follow the Spirit. And what I'm saying in this video, like, at the end of the day, like, follow the Spirit, because like it is a test of your faith. It will show if you have true faith or not. So when a temptation comes, like, feel excited about it. Like, in that time frame, like I said, think about these thoughts. Like, be like, yes, like this is a chance to prove my faith. This is a chance to show God that I truly love Him, that I serve Him, that I submit to Him in all my ways and all my heart. When you think of it like that, it gives you like some supernatural strength. I'm telling you that it gives you some strength to overcome that temptation, because it gives you that edge over the flesh. It's usually that flesh is strong, right? The Spirit is weak. And so with these type of thinking, this type of mindset, dude, it's crazy. Like, try it out. I want to hear like how it goes for you. But this is the type of mindset that I have recently, is that when I have a temptation, I'm super excited for it, because it is a test of my faith. And just that alone, just being able to overcome it, is a feeling like no other. So that's it for today's video. Obviously, I'm not giving you ways to sort of like actual like practical strategies to overcome any temptation, but sort of just like the overall like general mindset behind it. And with this type of mindset, it can be really, really helpful. But obviously, with whatever temptation that you're dealing with, whatever sin, whatever struggle, you have to plan it out. You have to figure out like, what do I have to do to overcome it, and do that before you get tempted. Because when you get tempted, that's when you're weak, right? That's when you want to just engage in that activity. So be prepared, get ready, and stand firm in your faith. And dude, like, succeed these trials, succeed the test, and it will be so worth it. That's my encouragement for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you can go out now, and whenever you're tempted, just have this mindset. And yeah, grace and peace to you all. Peace out. Let's go.